How's it going, everybody? It's Warren, and welcome back to Superhero Central. With Disney Plus's Loki series coming out, fans are getting more and more excited about the show and more interested in the character Loki himself. And all of his different variants, of course. And since the Loki series has came out, a lot of people have been wondering what exactly is Loki's origin in the comics. Now, Loki is a very unique character. Loki was originally born a frost giant, so he has many superhuman powers and abilities. But he was adopted and raised as an Asgardian, so he also possesses Asgardian attributes such as using Asgardian sorcery. With both of these two backgrounds combined, this makes Loki one of the most dangerous foes to come across in battle. So today we're going to be going over Loki's powers and abilities, and they are quite frankly amazing. As a frost giant, Loki possesses many superhuman powers such as superhuman speed, abnormal strength, agility, durability, stamina, and super quick reflexes. So let's break this down. Loki possesses superhuman strength that is superior compared to an average Asgardian male. He can physically lift up to 50 tons, and that's without any sort of aid. In the MCU, we saw him overpower Captain America, many SHIELD agents, and saw him defeat multiple frost giants, dark elves, and berserkers. And as you can see here, he's lifting up Tony Stark with one hand as if Tony Stark weighs nothing. I mean, he was even able to handle an Infinity Stone without being harmed. He once even managed to destroy a large building with a single punch, and like all Asgardians, his body tissues have 3 times the density of the same tissue in a human being. He's actually several hundred pounds heavier than he appears, and this ties into his next superhuman power, superhuman durability. The tissues of Loki's body are superhumanly durable and are roughly equal to those possessed by the average Asgardian male. However, at times, Loki has imbued himself with magical abilities that enable him to withstand injuries that would prove fatal to another Asgardian if hit. He is able to withstand high-caliber bullets, super high falls, powerful impact hits, exposure to temperature extremes, and powerful energy blasts without being injured. He has proved in the past to be durable enough to withstand energy blasts from the Mandarin's rings and several blows from Spider-Man without so much as a blink. However, sufficiently powerful weapons such as Iron Man's repulsors, Hawkeye's explosive arrows, and a deflective shot from his own scepter were at least able to cause Loki pain and leave minor marks. Loki's durability was implied to be far greater than that of a normal frost giant, as he was able to take multiple mighty blows from Valkyrie and even the Hulk and Thor without any fatal damage. And next, we have his superhuman speed. Now, technically, Thor is stronger than Loki, but Loki is much faster. In the Avengers, we saw a glimpse of his cat-like reflexes when he caught Hawkeye's explosive arrow right before it was inches away from piercing his neck. We've also seen his superhuman speed in fights against Captain America, Thor, and Valkyrie. In his fight against Captain America, he easily gained the upper hand, smashing Captain America's shield to the ground. Next up, superhuman stamina. Loki's frost giant metabolism grants him superhuman levels of physical stamina in pretty much everything he does. He can exert himself at peak capacity for about 24 hours before he even starts to feel a little bit fatigued. However, much like his physical strength and durability, Loki can temporarily enhance his stamina through his sorcery. Kind of OP if you think about it. Next, Loki possesses superhuman longevity. Like all Asgardians, Loki ages at a far slower rate than humans. Loki has the capacity to live for thousands of years. At the end of the last great war between the Asgardians and the Jotuns, Loki was just a baby, and that was over 1,000 years ago. And in the comics, he becomes reborn, so he never really died. But, unlike most gods, he does age. He is not immortal. As stated earlier, he just ages at a very slow rate. And fun fact, Loki is immune to all earthly diseases and infections. And even in the first Avengers film, Loki tells Thor, the humans think us immortal, implying that they're not, they just age at very slow rates. And for his next super awesome superpower, we have Regenerative Healing. Due to his frost giant physiology, Loki heals much faster than humans. Hence, Loki was quickly recovered back on his feet even after being brutally smashed multiple times against the ground by the Hulk, as we saw in the first Avengers movie. And through the use of his sorcery, Loki's ability to heal himself is far above that of other Asgardians. His magical energies are so imbued to his body that he can reattach severed limbs. He even reattached his own head once. And saving the best for last, in my own opinion, of course, he is a master sorcerer. Thanks to his sweet adoptive mother, Frigga, Loki learned how to wield Asgardian magic while he grew up in Asgard. We see him use this quite often in battles, and even when he just wants to mess around with his brother Thor. Now, he has many magical capabilities, and first off he is telekinetic, which enables him to move and influence objects through will alone. Remember when he heard about the death of his mother Frigga? Loki, in a fury, clenched his fist and sent everything around the cell flying through the air and crashing into the walls. And let's not forget about his illusion manipulation, which was super fun to watch in the MCU. Loki can generate extremely realistic holographic projections, sometimes with a gesture, which he has used to create illusions. He was particularly noted to fool enemies who try to attack him with an illusion of himself. These projections cannot interact with the environment, and when someone attempts to interact with it, they will phase through it, and the projections will give a green glow around wherever is touched. Thor was noted to fall for this ability numerous times. Loki can even fool entire cities with his illusion manipulations. And we've learned a little bit more about this in the Loki series. Next up is shape-shifting. Like many gods or goddesses, Loki possesses highly developed shape-shifting capabilities. He is able to adopt almost any form imaginable, whether it be other humans, animals, or even inanimate objects. He has become animals such as snakes, eagles, mouses, and bees. He can even take on the forms of other gods and giants. However, he will not necessarily gain the special physical or mental powers of the being he imitates. For example, in Thor Ragnarok, Loki took on the form of Odin, but didn't possess the abilities to stop Thor's hammer. Loki can also transform objects into other forms and substances by magic. For instance, he has turned clouds into dragons and even changed cars into ice cream. He can also change others' appearances. He turned Thor into a frog once, but with all that being said, Loki's shape-shifting could not free him of any restraints placed upon him. We saw this when he transformed into Captain America to mock him. Loki's hands were still bound, although he made it appear that the restraints had vanished. And let's not forget teleportation. Loki has the ability to teleport himself and others and across multiple dimensions, which is pretty dang useful. Overall, his magical abilities are equal to Karnilla, the most skilled sorceress in the Asgardian dimension. The Silver Surfer even noted that Loki's powers are sufficient enough to decimate a planet. Even Odin was impressed by Loki's magical skills and noted that Frigga would have been proud of him. And just when you think Loki couldn't get any cooler, let's not forget about his other attributes, like having a genius-level intellect. Loki is actually ranked as one of the highest, most intelligent individuals in the universe of Marvel. He is also extremely cunning and skilled, an expert battle strategist, and a highly skilled and charismatic manipulator, which shows by how he repeatedly succeeded to regain the trust of his fellow Asgardians despite his numerous crimes. Loki is a crafty genius in orchestrating cunning schemes, and this has earned him the title of God of Mischief. Hence, Loki successfully orchestrated the events that led to the banishment and death of Thor. And did you know that Loki can actually communicate in all of the languages of the 9 realms? That means all of Earth's different languages and various alien languages. And all of these powers combined into one person is pretty crazy and very overpowered if you think about it. And the MCU and Tom Hiddleston did such a great job in portraying Loki's character, but as you can see, there is much more to him than we've seen so far. And we've already seen a little bit more in the Loki series, which is why it's so exciting that he gets his own show. I can't wait to see more of his powers being displayed on screen during the Loki series. And be sure to let me know in the comments down below which side of Loki you are most excited to see in this series. Be sure to subscribe for more superhero related videos, and as always, thank you so much for joining us here at Superhero Central. Meow meow.